The Games were born more than a decade ago from a promise that I made to myself, sacred obligation after my own decade and privilege of military service, to do whatever I could to help my fellow brothers and sisters heal, and to champion everything that we stand for. And that healing, though it begins with you, extends to your children and loved ones who delight in the simple gift of seeing you smile once again. Someone once asked Nobel laureate Toni Morrison how we survive whole in the world. And she replied, sometimes you don't survive whole, you just survive in part. But the grandeur of life is that attempt. It's not about that solution. It is about being as fearless as one can and behaving as beautifully as one can under completely impossible circumstances. Show the world the grandeur in your attempt at victory. Show the world why you are Invictus. Thank you.
The Invictus Games Vancouver Whistler 2025 have kicked off and they are 3 days in. Harry and Meghan have been out and about everywhere giving us amazing photo ops, amazing outfits, and most importantly, endearing, beautiful, loving moments. Cheers to all the competitors, the Invictus Games Foundation, Harry and Meghan, and all of the spectators. It has been a wild ride and we're only 3 days in, so let's get started. Thank you for clicking on my video, and if you're returning, welcome back to my channel. Today, we finally get to talk about the Invictus Games Vancouver Whistler 2025, the first 3 days. Now, usually I don't upload on the weekend, so that's why we didn't get the first 2 days prior to now. And yesterday, I was going to talk about it. However, I had a whole lot of homework, and I didn't want y'all getting on to me about being irresponsible. So I did the homework yesterday, and today we can finally recap the first 3 days. But before we get into that, if you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video by hitting the thumbs up button beneath the video. Please don't forget to share by hitting the share button so more people can find us. And please don't forget to subscribe by hitting the subscribe button, which is free, by the way. Now, let's get into it. Of course, these updates will be coming to you directly from Sussex.com. The first update we'll be looking at today is titled, Welcome to the Games. And before we even get into the actual update, look at that crowd. And this isn't even the whole arena. I don't even think this is a fourth of the arena. Look up there. There are people all the way up there. Oh my goodness. Wow. Not surprised, but so impressed. On the opening day of Invictus Games 2025, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex began with a morning visit to Team USA, where they met with competitors, families, and supporters as they geared up for the official start of the Invictus Games. The couple then joined Team Canada at their own kickoff gathering, echoing the same sentiments of the morning reception, the power of connection, and the Invictus spirit. Between candid conversations, heartfelt hugs, and meaningful words of encouragement, it was an impactful start to the day for all. Then it was off to BC Sports Hall of Fame, where Premier David Eby hosted a reception to officially welcome the Invictus Games to British Columbia. In a special moment, Premier Eby proclaimed, quote, Invictus Games Week, emphasizing the province's dedication to the event. Later, the Duke and Duchess attended the Invictus Games welcome ceremony, a sold-out event with a crowd of over 40,000, which featured an emotional flag ceremony carried out by all 23 nations competing in the Games, as well as significant moments of recognizing the First Nations communities for inviting the Games on their sacred land. The welcome ceremony also included performances by Chris Martin, Katy Perry, Noah Kahan, Nelly Furtado, and Roxanne Bruneau. Prince Harry gave a rousing speech to his fellow service personnel that resonated deeply with the audience and garnered a standing ovation. Well deserved, by the way. That was an amazing speech. He began with gratitude to the First Nations, saying, quote, From the bid for the Games through this week's competition, we have walked together, side by side on this journey, and are so grateful to you for having these Games on your land. Wow. A natural leader. He then honored the competitors, quote, "At this moment, when there is no shortage of crisis, no absence of uncertainty, no lack of weak moral character in the world, the values you embody, the way you carry yourselves, not only at the Invictus Games, but each and every day, your courage, your resilience, your humanity, illuminate a path forward for us all. And for that, we thank you." The day took a thrilling turn at the Vancouver Canucks NHL game, where the Duke marked the game's official start with the puck drop, a symbolic moment during the most watched game of the season, of which the local team, the Vancouver Canucks, won 2-1. The evening culminated at a reception at HMCS Discovery, hosted by Canadian Armed Forces Chief of the Defense Staff, General Jenny Karanen, and Chief Warrant Officer Bob McCann. The event celebrated the success of the Invictus Games welcoming ceremony and sparked important discussions on military cooperation and community. This extraordinary day in Vancouver kicked off the Invictus Games in a powerful and energizing way, highlighting the core values of service, resilience, and unity that define the Invictus community. And let's take a look at some of the pictures. The next update is titled, "A Day of Community, Creativity, and Support." Now, before we move on, this is a nice picture, but I want to see if you can actually find Harry and Meghan in the photo. I'm going to give you 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. There's Harry, listening intently, by the way. And there is Miss Meghan reading to children and Harry. He is not going to miss a story time with Meghan. Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, kicked off their second day at Invictus Games Vancouver Whistler 2025 with an inspiring visit to the International Library at the nation's home, where they spent quality time connecting with Invictus friends and family. The Duchess led a fun and heartwarming storytime session, reading to children and creating an interactive, joyful atmosphere. The couple then rolled up their sleeves and joined the children in designing spirit posters, a powerful reminder of how storytelling and art can build connections for the next generation. Following the event, they made their way to watch the highly anticipated wheelchair basketball competition. The energy in the arena was electric as competitors gave it their all, demonstrating incredible skill and determination. Prince Harry and Meghan cheered on the athletes, celebrating their strength and resilience, and reaffirming their support for the Invictus Games' core values of courage, perseverance, and unity. Later, the Duke attended the Veteran Employment Symposium, a pivotal event hosted by True Patriot Love as part of the Games' broader legacy initiatives. Focused on opening doors to career opportunities for veterans, this cause is one close to the Duke's heart. The gathering was a dynamic platform where veterans, industry leaders, and government officials exchanged ideas on how both the public and private sectors can better support veterans and their families as they transition into civilian life. I don't know why I butchered the word transition. We're just going to push them. But let me just say this real quick. I love how these events are centered around the community that they're targeted at, which is amazing. But I also love how in all of their initiatives, whether that's Invictus Games, whether that's at an Archewell Foundation, whether that's anything that they work on that's centered around a social issue or social impact, they bring people together to have important, meaningful, but most important, impactful conversations. They bring decision makers and those in the know and experts in the field or experts regarding the social issue to the same table to have conversations, exchange ideas, but most importantly, impact change. I don't want that to ever be undervalued, how that is a habit I've noticed of theirs. When they were talking about online safety, they bring government officials, tech experts, people who are most impacted and people who have been impacted in a negative way. They bring them all to the same table in a way that in most cases they would not have met at the same table. And I think personally, I think they are directly impacting the fact that legislation across the world, but here in the US as well, is changing regarding children and social media, as well as safety in social media. These conversations are happening at important events, at important tables, and they're talking to the people who actually can impact change. They're not just talking to a crowd of people who may or may not even be in those industries. They're talking to the people who are in those industries, who can pass that legislation, who can lobby. They're talking to people and bringing people together, people who are experts in those areas, to have conversations with the change makers and with the people who can actually impact change. I don't ever want that to be undervalued. They do that with every initiative, and look at how things are slowly changing. I just wanted to point that out because I think that's one of those things that they do that shows that they're not just doing it to have something to champion or to fluff their platform. They actually care about these issues. They care about these communities. They care about changing the world for the better, and they are actually impacting positive change. Let's continue. In the afternoon, the couple made their way to the Hillcrest Community Center to cheer on the first semifinal of wheelchair curling. This iconic venue, built for the 2010 Vancouver Olympic and Paralympic curling events, is a vital community hub offering everything from an ice hockey rink to a gym, library, and aquatic facilities. The couple's presence was a powerful reminder of the importance of inclusion, accessibility, and creating spaces where everyone can thrive. As the day came to a close, their energy and engagement in those significant moments underscored their ongoing commitment to advocacy, ensuring that those who have served and their families receive the support, care, and opportunities they truly deserve. Their actions continue to shine a light on the power of collaboration and the importance of shared experiences as veterans take on the next chapter of their lives with strength and resilience. Now let's take a look at some photos. The next update is titled, Welcome to Whistler. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex began the third day of the Invictus Games 2025 with a visit to Squamish Nation. There, they immersed themselves in the community's rich history, vibrant culture, and the deep connections that make it so unique. Their visit included two key locations, the Language Nest and the Chief Joe Mathis Center. At the Language Nest, the couple was introduced to the important efforts being made to revitalize and promote the Squamish language. This initiative plays a vital role in ensuring the future of the language and fostering a renewed sense of cultural pride within the community. The couple then visited the Chief Joe Mathis Center, where they experienced the transformative power of traditional art making, which serves as both a form of healing and a profound expression of cultural identity. The visit offered a meaningful opportunity for the Duke and Duchess to deepen their understanding of Indigenous traditions and the Squamish people. Following the meaningful engagement, the couple headed to Whistler, where Prince Harry attended the IGF Patrons Lunch, an intimate gathering hosted by Lord Charles Allen, CBE, to honor the Foundation's most valued partners and supporters. The Duke delivered a heartfelt speech, expressing deep appreciation for the significant contributions of these supporters and underscoring the lasting impact their generosity continues to have on the Games and its athletes. As part of the Family and Friends program in Whistler, the Squamish-Lil'wat Cultural Center offered a special 2-hour guided tour and Indigenous craft-making experience, free of charge to all members of the participating nations. Led by youth cultural ambassadors from the Squamish and Lil'wat nations, these interactive sessions gave guests the chance to create their own paddle rattles while learning about Indigenous cultures. The Duke and Duchess toured the SLCC space and delighted friends and family by joining in on the craft-making activity. These traditional instruments have been used by Pacific Northwest Coast First Nations in ceremonies, community songs, and as gifts to newborns to protect them from harmful spirits. That is beautiful. Later that day, the couple marked the official opening of the first ever Winter Adaptive Sports competitions at the Invictus Games during the Welcome to Whistler celebration. This public event, which celebrated the game's exciting expansion into winter sports, highlighted the athletes' incredible resilience. Prince Harry expressed his enthusiasm for the iteration of the games, celebrating the courage of the competitors and the profound impact these events have on their lives. The celebration reached its peak with a thrilling fly past as two CF-18 Hornets soared over the village before and over to Whistler Olympic Park, where the game's Nordic ski events were taking place. The crowd erupted in cheers as the jets passed overhead, adding a powerful patriotic touch to a day filled with unforgettable moments. The Duke and Duchess ended the day at Whistler Sliding Center to watch the skeleton event, one of the most thrilling and adrenaline-pumping parts of the games. Skeleton is a high-speed winter sport in which athletes race headfirst down an icy track on a small sled, requiring intense bravery. I remember looking at a video of Prince Harry trying that out. With a packed agenda, the Duke and Duchess made the most of their day, engaging with key figures, showing their unwavering support for the competitors, and reinforcing their commitment to the Invictus Games and its mission. The day also marked a milestone in the game's history as it introduced winter sports for the first time, setting the stage for what promises to be a week of remarkable competition, unity, and celebration. Now let's take a look at some photos. I just wanted to take a super short break to say, if you have not already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and if you are interested, feel free to participate in the live chat going on now, or feel free to leave a comment if you do not wish to engage in the live chat. Once again, I know I do this all the time. I'm enjoying a channel, I'm enjoying the video, I'm just having a great time, and I completely forget to hit subscribe. So please don't forget to hit subscribe. Don't forget to comment if you wish, and please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button so that the algorithm on YouTube knows that you like my content. Now, let's get back to the show. It looks like everyone is having an incredible time at the Invictus Games Vancouver Whistler 2025. I have enjoyed so many updates from everyone across all social media, with the exception of Facebook and Twitter, because I don't have either. But I have been watching you guys on Spoutable, on Blue Sky, on Threads, on Instagram, everywhere that I can find you. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen me all up in your comments, liking every post, reposting every post, quoting, commenting, congratulating, high-fiving. I've been with y'all in spirit. And as a matter of fact, I've been watching y'all and stalking y'all, to be real. Let's call it what it is. It's social media stalking. I've been watching those of you who are at the Invictus Games so intently that I think I might be even astral projecting. If at any point you feel like there's like a spirit following you, or like you can feel like the cold air on the back of your neck and you turn around and nobody's there, it's probably me. I'm probably there in spirit. So please don't send me an invoice for taking this trip with you guys spiritually. I'm doing the best I can to cope because I really wanted to go. And then it's a good thing that I was smart and decided to just stay, because I already had a lot of homework. I had 2 pop quizzes and a test this week that popped up that was not on the syllabus, by the way. So if I had come, I would have been screwed. So we sometimes have to make adult decisions. It doesn't mean it hurts any less. But what I will say is this: I have been turning my bitterness into purpose. Now, I can't exactly call it pain because I don't want to be dramatic. And, you know, Prince Harry and Meghan both say turn your pain into purpose. So I don't have any pain to turn into purpose, but you know I do have bitterness because I couldn't come. I had to turn that into purpose. And that purpose has been stalking y'all's social media. So thank you for bringing me along for the ride. Now, if I see any invoices pop up in my email, I'm just going to delete those and act like I didn't see them. Spam, junk. Not going to look at it. If I don't look at it, it didn't exist. So I hope you guys are having the time of your lives. It definitely looks like you are. One thing I do want to say is I have been so appreciative and so impressed and just really touched all around at the gesture of the First Nations allowing the games to be held on their sacred land. But not only that, but the fact that they have been sharing their cultural traditions and their sacred rituals with people. So for those of you who get an opportunity, or who have gotten an opportunity to not only observe, but even in some cases participate, I hope that you do appreciate that, because those things are sacred. Even the fact that they are allowing people into the language center and to experience some of their language, that is a beautiful thing. Culture is important, even if it differs from yours. But I would even say, especially if it differs from yours, it's important to know other people, other experiences, other histories that are in this world. It's important to enrich not only your mind, but your tolerance, understanding, and appreciation for the world around you, and even for yourself. And I hope that when you share your culture, when you share your experiences, when you share your unique experience showing up in this world, that everybody listens and engages and respects you the same way that I know that you are respecting them. That was one of the things that I was the most disappointed that I didn't get a chance to do, because I really did want to engross myself in the First Nations, those cultural centers, because I did a whole video on them. There are plenty in Canada, and I wanted to go to some of those and experience some of those. But maybe my time is not now, but in the future, it doesn't mean I can't go in the future. So if I do, I will certainly let you guys know how my experience was. So I hope you guys have been enjoying that. One of the things I also wanted to point out, I really appreciate Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Every opportunity they get to thank the First Nations, they do. And you can tell that they're very appreciative for not only being let in, but having an opportunity to connect in the way that they are. What we are seeing, in my opinion, is truly history-making things. Like we don't often see government officials, public figures, royal family members, you name politicians. We often don't see them participate to this degree. We often don't see them appreciate Indigenous communities in this way. And I've said this before, but I do want to circle back to it. The way that Prince Harry and Meghan both, but since, this is kind of Prince Harry's thing, I really appreciate how Prince Harry has made it a point to highlight the contributions of everyone, but especially the First Nations, and how important it was to get their blessing and permission before having the games on their sacred land. He has, and the Invictus Foundation too, everyone participated especially, but he and the foundation, the Invictus Games Foundation, have taken every opportunity to tread lightly and respectfully. And it's that type of approach that highlights him as a leader. It's that type of approach that shows that it's so much more than just the games and the competition and the competitors even. It's everything that touches Invictus, or even Harry and Meghan, Archewell for that matter. Everything that orbits them is done just so, is done so carefully, is done with tenderness and consideration and just propriety. And that cannot be understated. There are so many times where people, and I'm a Black woman from the South, there are a lot of different communities, or not communities, but different things that I experience in my community. And I feel like sometimes when people come into my community or are even welcomed into our community, sometimes they take what they want and go, or they don't respect, or they mock, or they mimic, or they dismiss. And it's something that happens all too often. And sometimes obviously we understand appropriation, monetizing and capitalizing off of someone else's culture. That has been a hot topic for a long time. It hasn't stopped it. But because that's something that's pretty front of mind for me, because I know my own experiences of seeing and experiencing people do that to my culture, the Black American culture, the Southern culture, I've observed people do that. I'm really sensitive to not just appropriation, but just treading lightly and with respect when you are on someone else's ground, when you are in someone else's world. And it really highlighted the fact of how Harry and Meghan both have not only been very respectful, but have been so appreciative and have expressed that at every turn. That just goes beyond being a nice person or a good person. It just shows true, genuine leadership. Leadership that I am eager to experience as a citizen of America. I'm just going to be honest. I want every politician, anyone who's going to run for office, I genuinely, and I say this sometimes as a joke, but I'm being very serious when I say this today. I genuinely want them to look at the Harry and Meghan blueprint. I feel like having leaders, government officials, politicians, having those types of mindsets and that type of approach at those important tables, at those important conversations, when we're passing laws, when we're voting, when we're doing anything pertaining to the greater good and the public as a whole, that mindset and that approach will lead us in the right way or down the right path every single time. And I hope that the type of publicity that both Harry and Meghan garner, especially in moments like this, I hope that the right people take note, and that as time goes on, our leadership begins to morph into more of what we're seeing with Harry and Meghan and less of what we have in the White House right now. But that's just something I wanted to express. Y'all know sometimes I kind of keep it real when I get on this, because I feel like if you can watch any channel on YouTube. You can watch any channel. You don't have to watch me. You can watch whoever you want to. The fact that you've chosen to watch my channel, I feel like I have an obligation and a duty to be as honest as I possibly can, because I appreciate you being here. And so those are my honest thoughts when I was keeping up with the first 3 days of the Invictus Games from afar, like a psycho stalker, scrolling through all of y'all's feeds and explore pages and stalking all of y'all when I was doing my duty as an experiencer by proxy. That was something that just kept coming up for me, of just like, wow, like look at all the steps they're taking to ensure that not only they don't offend anyone, but that they recognize how appreciative, that people know that how appreciative they are for this opportunity to be on sacred land and to even observe and participate in traditions. I cannot overstate, how important that is. And I hope we see more of that in leadership across the world. Anyway, that is actually all I have for you guys today. I'm excited to hear your thoughts. So please don't forget to comment in the comment section down below or in the live chat. If you want to share your experience and have that be part of tomorrow's video, feel free to call me at email me at hellosharion@gmail.com, or you can call me and leave me a voicemail at 305-699-5548. Let me know at the top of your voicemail if you want to be anonymous or not. But But let me know. And if you want to shout out your socials so that we can all come and follow you when you share your experience, let me know too. I'll put it on the screen so people can come follow you at your Instagram or your Blue Sky or your Spoutable, wherever you want us to follow you. So again, if you want to call in and give us your socials so we can follow along with your experience and come and follow you, you can call me at you can call me at 305-699-5548, or you can email me your experience at hellosharion@gmail.com. Thank y'all so much for watching and listening. I hope you're enjoying today's video. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.
How do you survive whole? I can't do this quickly, Juan.
Okay.
How can you survive whole and when we're victims of something? That's a nice, big, fat, Eastern, Western philosophical question about how do you get through. Sometimes you don't survive whole. You just survive in part. But the grandeur of life is that attempt. It's not about that solution. It is about, being as fearless as one can and behaving as beautifully as one can under completely impossible circumstances.